and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello. What's the good word? Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. I am super excited today to deliver a message to you that has basically changed my life. When I learned this, what we're going to talk about today, it changed everything for me from an online marketing perspective, because this key skill will be the difference between you and your competitors for this year and years to come. If you learn this skill, and if you don't learn the skill, at least you have to understand the psychology behind it, in case you hire someone that has this skill. The skill I'm talking about today, guys, is copywriting. Copywriting is probably, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, and you want to generate leads online, you want to generate interest online, you want to do anything online. In other words, you're not actually speaking to the people who are seeing you, but they come to you anyway. You have to understand copywriting. You really have to understand it, because that's where the money rolls in. Now, you can be the greatest business owner in the world, okay? And you work well when you meet people face to face, or maybe on a webinar or whatever. However, the beauty of having someone come to you and act as if they've already met you is a priceless skill set to have. How is that done? It's done with the art of copywriting. So today we're going to be talking about 7 tips to effective copywriting. And I hope that this really helps you, because there's nothing sexier, guys, nothing out there sexier than having someone find your website, read through it, right? Even if it's just 5 sentences, and those 5 sentences resonated with them so well that they just had to either pick up the phone and call you, or fill out a form and schedule an appointment with you. It's one of the most, for me, maybe I just geek out over this stuff, but it's one of the most invigorating processes in online marketing, is to have a perfect stranger pick up the phone and call you and ask you about your services, or fill out a form and ask you about the services. So before we get to that, folks, I actually have one more book left. 7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business. I have one left, and I am offering it to you guys. I don't know who is going to be the lucky person, but here's what I'm going to do. I am going to sweeten the pot. If you are the lucky person who will order the last book that I have, I am going to give you some swag with the book. So that's your reward for requesting a free copy of 7 Steps to Recession-Proofing Your Business. That is the last copy. Again, I do not know if I'm going to order more. They're selling pretty well in Amazon already. I like to have them. I like to ship them out, and lets me get to know you guys a little better. So I may or may not buy some more, maybe during the summer or whatever. But for right now, that is up in the air, and I have one left. I want to thank you guys for the ones who have ordered it through the podcast. I want to thank you very, very, very much. It's been a pleasure serving you guys. And I'm pretty sure that this week, this last one is going. And as I said, as an incentive, I'm going to ship out some swag with you, from Local Business Marketing Solutions swag. All right. So that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about before we get to the topic. Another thing I want to talk to you about is if you want to be a guest on my show, give us a call at 888-416-7752 and schedule an appointment, and we will put you on the schedule. Topic of conversation needs to be around the digital marketing realm. It's got to be some any kind of business type of topic. If you have a process that's been working with you well, and you want to promote it on the show, you want to talk about it on the show, anything that you want to talk about that's marketing related, it's welcome on this show. 888-416-7752. You can also send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. All right, folks, ready to rock and roll. I want to give you 7 tips to effective copywriting. Did you actually understand what I was saying prior to getting into right before I launched this episode? I was talking about copywriting, and that you have to understand the power about it. And I get geeked out about it because professional copywriters are the experts. They're the experts in sales and what most people refer to as human psychology. Okay. They know exactly what makes people tick and how to connect with an audience that can get them to spend their hard-earned dollars on your service. I don't care what service you have. If you understand this psychology, you're going to crush it. They are also very expensive. Usually professional copywriters are very, very expensive. A top tier copywriter can actually charge in the upper 5 figures to write a website. The upper 5 figures to write an entire website. Okay. So a lot of us in this field, us small business owners, we're not prepared to make that kind of investment. We're really not. But the top tier guys, that's what they charge, in the upper 5 figures. And those websites, they convert off the charts very well. But again, small businesses, you and I, we are not in a position to pay for that. Instead, we will write copy ourselves. That's what we typically do. Okay. Now, fortunately, there are some quick tips that we can actually adopt and improve on our sales copy. Okay. Whether it's on your homepage, your product descriptions, or any kind of direct mail, whatever that is, we have to understand how to verbally communicate with our audience, to have them, and we have to employ human psychology in the way we communicate with them. That is so essential, folks. And it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but that is so so essential, especially if you want to collect inbound leads. People who land on your website, however they land on it, read through it, and actually take an action. Okay? And when you can get that on a consistent basis, not like someone took an action today and then 10 months later they took another action. No, I'm talking about daily, you're collecting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leads daily. What would that look like in your business? But anyway, I'm digressing here. I want to get back to the 7 tips, okay? Because you have to learn this skill, or you have to at least hire someone within your organization to learn the skill, okay? Or you can outsource it to a marketing company like Local Business Marketing Solutions, who focuses on local businesses, to do it for you at a fraction of the cost that a professional copywriter is going to do it. Like, remember, I told you, they're in the upper 5 figures. They're definitely up there, and it depends on the size of the website and all that stuff and the brand. But yeah, you're going to pay top dollar for that. But for us down here, the small businesses, we can't get there, but we can do it at an affordable price. It's still not cheap, but way not. It's not at the 5-figure mark. Put it that way. Anyway, but if you want to give it a stab and you want to work on it yourself, check out these 7 tips. I want you to download this episode. I want you to take notes, because this will change your business, especially if you're going online. So the tip number 1 is write like you talk. I learned this. When I found this out, and this is why I put it as number 1, because this is what really helped me. It changed everything, the way I thought about writing. See, as soon as we start writing as our businesses, we become like, so formal, like we're trying to impress our high school English teacher, right? We replace perfectly good words like use with utilize. And you want to try to sound more professional, but all we're really doing is making it harder for the reader to understand. Okay? A good rule of thumb, and this is something, again, like I said, I learned, and this really helped me. A good rule of thumb is to write your copy to a 6th or 7th grader. Okay? See, that doesn't mean that you're dumbing it down. See, the Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings, is written at a 7th grade reading level. Okay? I don't know if you guys knew that, but I looked this up. When I was told this, what I'm now teaching you, I was told that something like Lord of the Rings was written in a 7th grade reading level. Okay? And that writer is not a 7th grade person. You got to understand that. I think his name was J.R.R. Tolkien or something like that, his name was. So to prevent falling into overly formal writing, you got to write like you talk. So keep sentences short and use contractions like didn't instead of did not. Okay? So starting sentences with transition words like and, but, although instead can actually help the reader to follow your thoughts. Okay? And because normally if you you normally won't write like that. But in ad copy, it's a good thing. See, after you finish your draft, I want you to then read it out loud. It should sound like part of a conversation. And that's tip number 1. You want to write like you talk. Tip number 2, you got to be clear. Sounds simple? Let me explain a little bit deeper. Okay? This may be the number 1 rule of copywriting. Okay? Clear wins over clever every time. And I'm going to repeat that again. Clear wins over clever every time. And I'm talking about copywriting here, okay? It's a hard pill to swallow, folks, especially if you take joy in being creative. But if your smart pun or turn of phrase is making it harder, not easier, to reach the reader, then it has to go. I mean, humor is good, but you can't have humor that's like in your inner circle, or like, you're trying to be too wise with the pun. You're trying to be too clever. It really hurts you. So this means that you may need to omit some pop culture references or industry jargon, okay? Especially if your audience isn't within your industry. See, a B2B company may be able to get away with more tech talk than a B2C company, for example, because the B2B company, there's some sort of internal jargon that they all can actually relate to because they're selling this particular product or service to another business that's in a like space. So they can probably get away with it. But with a B2C, can't do it. So with a B2C, you want to be clear and you don't want to be clever. And most of us guys, we're B2C. If you're an attorney, if you're a dentist, you're talking to the consumer about your service, chiropractor, whatever that is, an attorney. You're talking to your audience. That's B2C. Okay. That's number 2. Just be clear. Number 3, remember who the hero is. I want to give you a hint before we move on with this. Remember who the hero is, but here's the hint. It's not your business. See, potential customers aren't on your website or reading your sales copy because they want to hear about you. They're reading it because they want to hear how your service can help them. So you want to approach your copy from the customer's perspective. What do they want? How do you want them to feel? How does your service solve their problem or make them better, happier, richer, whatever your service does, right? Position the reader as the hero all the time. And this is going to take some practice, guys. I want to pause a little bit before I go to number 4. Number 3 is critical because I go on a lot of websites and I read them and I go, wow, I know about this website, I know about this service, or I know about this product, or I know about whatever they do, but I don't know how they can help me or anyone else. So spend time understanding this piece, because you have to write as if you already know that they need you. That's how you have to write it. And again, it's a skill set that you probably are not familiar with at this point, but getting familiar with it sooner rather than later is going to make a huge change in the bottom line of your business. I can guarantee it because it just does. I mean, you get a connection. You build a bond with the reader that they just have to pick up the phone and call you. That's just the way it works. All right, so let me go to number 4. Number 4 is you're not selling a product. Number 4, you're not selling a product. Here's what I mean. You're selling transformation. So you're not selling your service. You're not selling the product. Whatever it is that you're selling, you're not selling what it is that you're selling. You're actually selling transformation. You're selling the customer the version of themselves that they want to be. And your customer isn't buying vitamins or, for example, they're buying a new persona as the type of person who takes a daily vitamin. I'm going to repeat that because that is very key. Your customer is not buying vitamins if that's what you're selling. Let's assume. That's as an assumption. They're buying a new persona as the type of person who takes a daily vitamin. It's a huge distinction, folks. Huge distinction. And it's very powerful because when you're writing, you have to think about this. So instead of talking about all the great features of your product, in this case, vitamins is what we're talking about, connect the buyer to the benefit they'll receive. A list of ingredients, vitamin A, C, B12, etc., doesn't tell the buyer anything about how the multivitamin will actually improve their life. But if you instead focus on the benefits, aka improved skin, better immunity, increased energy, etc., the buyer can start to see how the product helps them to become a better version of themselves. That's the power of talking about benefits and not features. That's the power. I remember when I was learning this stuff, I would always, as I was writing copy, I was always repeat this sentence that my coach or copywriting teacher, if you will, was telling me. He used to always say, features tell, benefits sell. So I would have that in my head as I was writing copy, mainly for my customers. So as I was writing copies for my customer, I was always having that in my head. Features tell, benefits sell. Features tell, benefits sell. And that helped me to become a better copywriter for my clients. All right, so I want to go to number 5 real quick. Number 5 is you want to use active voice. In active voice, the subject of the sentence completes the action. So I'm going to give you an example. Dan kicked the ball is an active voice. Dan is the subject, making him the most important character in the sentence. So in passive voice, the action happens to the subject or object. So it would be something like this. The ball was kicked by Dan. That's an example of a passive voice. The ball is the subject, which makes it the star of the show. So there are times when passive voice is appropriate. So yeah, there's always a rule that's broken in this thing. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't want you to think that, okay, you have to always write like this, but there are times that it could be appropriate. For example, if you don't know who took the action, passive voice makes sense. So if you come home to, say, a broken window, you would say, the window is broken. You wouldn't say they broke the window. So since you don't know who broke it, you can't say they broke the window. So you have to use the passive voice. The window is broken. Hope that makes sense. So here's the thing. In general, active voice keeps your writing more energetic and usually needs fewer words. It's easy to slip into passive voice while you're writing. So you want to check your work with, say, the Hemingway editor. And I'll give you a link to the Hemingway editor. That'll be my gift to you in this episode. Or a similar tool to catch like the passive voice. So you want to check the reading level of your writing and make sure that your sentences aren't too complicated. So this is going to help you with that. And this is just, again, if you're writing, let me back up here. I want you guys to understand this. If you are writing a book, and the book is targeted towards people who are PhDs, you're not listening. You don't have to follow these steps. But copywriting is all about simplifying what you write so you attract and connect with your audience. So this is why you want to use some of these things. So I'll give you this Hemingway editor tool on the show notes. All right, number 6, guide the eye. And I know people are saying, Frank, what the heck are you talking about? Okay, here's what I mean by guide the eye. The longer the text, the more help the reader will need getting down to the bottom of the page. See, we've all opened a new web page, been faced with, like a wall of text and immediately fumbled for the back button. It's because it's too overwhelming. That happens all the time. So how about your readers? Keep paragraphs short to keep the eye moving. You want to separate your content with bold headings so that the reader can easily follow your train of thought, because everybody has a train of thought. As we're writing, you want the reader. That's a good way of connecting with them if you can make them follow your train of thought. Okay, so if a section, here's what I always do. If a section gets longer than, say, 300 words, try to break it down into smaller sections. Very, very, very important. Bold, italics, and bullets and numbered lists will also help you break up the content a little better and make it flow better so that the person who's reading it doesn't get lost. So last but not least is number 7. Make them an offer they cannot refuse. Or should I say can't refuse? You see, I broke my own rule. I said they cannot, and I meant to say can't, because can't is a dumber down version. But anyway, I digress again. Let me get back into the swing of things, folks. So number 7 is make them an offer they can't refuse. Have you ever watched an infomercial where the narrator says something like, let me think of a good example. Are you tired of always dropping your pen? unless you have a serious problem with pen control, the answer to that is probably a confused no, right? It's just, it's crazy. So don't ask questions in your copy unless the answer is always a yes, which is what I'm trying to say. I like to watch infomercials, actually, to get ideas of marketing in general, but copywriting as well. I mean, I know they're speaking it, but the way they flow, it helps you write your own copy. So, and again, you want to write copy that the answer is always going to be yes. Do you want to make more sales or more money? That's always a yes, no matter what, people are always going to say yes. I mean, there'll be some wise asses, I'm sure, out there that'll say no, but they're just being wise asses. But you can help people to envision life after working with you, with your service or whatever, without asking them questions that may not get the answers that you want. So you want to make sure that your answers are always yes. So there are some copy basics that I just gave you. I'm going to go over them one more time. I'm just going to highlight them. There's 7 ad copy basics. Number 1 is you want to write like you talk. Very important. You want to be clear. This was number 2. You want to be super, super clear. I'm going to change that to super clear. Number 3, you want to remember who the hero is. The hint, it's not you or it's not your business. Number 4, you're not selling a product. You are actually selling transformation. Remember that. So basically you want to talk about benefits. Number 5, use active voice. And I have a link on the show notes of an editor, the Hemingway editor, that's going to help you make sure that you always use the active voice. 6, you want to guide the eye. Guide the eye. Very important to guide the eye. What does that mean? That means you want to break up your copy, make it readable. Don't make the person go crazy trying to read your copy. Not good practice. Number 7, you want to make them an offer they can't refuse. In other words, always ask a question that they can't say no. Always ask a question that the answer is always yes. And I gave you some examples there. So with these copywriting basics, guys, in your little repertoire that you're building now, do an audit of your current sales copy. Okay? So this is your homework. I'm going to give you homework for this episode. Now I'm giving you some basics. So I want you to do an audit of your current sales copy. See what you can tweak to make your writing more approachable and energetic. Make sure to track your conversion rates before and after you make the edits to see if your upgrades are doing a good trick. And if they're not doing a good trick, I really want to help you guys with this, because this is some powerful stuff. Okay. So I want you guys to, if you this is something that you don't want to nickel and dime with, you don't want to shortchange yourself with, especially in 2021. A lot of people are going online now. So, reach out to us, 888-416-7752. If you want us to do an audit of your ad copy, again, just reach out, 888-416-7752. And we'll have one of our marketing experts take a look at it. and give you some suggestions on the audits. You can also send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. So that's all I have for you today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a very important topic, very, very, very important topic, because it's going to make the difference into how easily you can get people to take action. So with that, I'm going to bid farewell to this episode. I will see all of you next week. I can't wait to do it. I have another powerful, powerful topic waiting for you. Can't wait to deliver it. But until then, this has been Frank Deming, the local business guy. Take care, folks, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.